Valley Club, the Accursed team is free right now. There are new promo codes this week. They are expiring today, though, so make sure you enter them today. The Accursed team was introduced and looks like they're arriving next week. And how much fun has the Danger Room added? We're discussing all of these topics and more in this edition of your Marvel Strike Force Weekly News Update. This week, I am joined by the champion of all Cosmic Crucible content creators, Dossier. And if you're ready for all the news topics, Brother Dossier, let them know what to do.
Let's go smash it.
And welcome back to the ValleyFlyin channel. I am ValleyFlyin. This is Dossier, and this is your Marvel Strike Force Weekly News Update. We do this every week, keeping you up to date on everything that has happened and is upcoming in Marvel Strike Force. And if you get some value from this video, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, ring the notification bell so you know as soon as a brand new video goes up, at least 5 Marvel Strike Force videos every single week on this channel. But without further ado, how have you been, my champion friend? How was it smashing all of us fellow content creators yesterday?
I'm feeling great, finally. I mean, I keep hitting that like finals and then I just fall short. So this time I was able to finally pull it through against Diamond Dave, and him and Juicy were really, really tough matches. So I kind of went through the gauntlet on that one.
I do want to discuss this a lot more and give out those promo codes. But before we get to all that, I do want to mention the sponsor of this video, INTOTHEAM, and their huge Memorial Day sale is still going on from now until the 1st of June, where it gets saved up to 70% off site-wide. And I love how all my INTOTHEAM shirts look and feel super, super comfortable and breathable fabric. And INTOTHEAM's not just about t-shirts. They also have button-ups. They got tank tops. They got joggers. Everything you need to get ready for this summer. So make sure you check out INTOTHEAM right now while that sale goes on, and use that link down below to save an additional 10% off your entire order. Yeah, that's right, guys. Up to 70% off everything at INTOTHEAM from now until the 1st, and an additional 10% by using that link. Huge saving, guys. Check them out right now. So once again, shout out to INTOTHEAM for sponsoring this video, and make sure you use that link in the description to save 10% off everything in your order. And make sure you do it right now while that Memorial Day sale is going on, where you can save up to 70% off everything. But before we get to the part that I already recorded with Dossier while I was editing this, well, we had server reset, and in the Intel shop right now, we have the Accursed team for free. You want to get some shards for them, you can. You could hold your intel to get more gear tier 20 pieces, but if you want to get the Accursed team, they are free right now in the Intel store, guys. 12,500 intel every time you want to get 5 shards for these characters. Is it worth it? It's not worth it. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments as we get to the rest of this video. The tournament winner, congratulations again, and let's talk about these codes here for the for you. This one, a new CC champion. So that is 3 C's in there, right? That is for 200 power cores, 2 million gold. That was your one. 2 million. All right, the other one, Thunder 5C win. That is for 200 L4 training modules, 100 power cores. And the third, Challenge 6CC. That is for 200 L4 training modules and another million gold. So 3 million total. But of course, these expire today, 5/29. We don't know what time they're expiring, so as soon as you get these, make sure you enter these codes right away. Hopefully they forget and leave them up, but yeah, enter them right now, guys. Any thoughts on these codes?
Overall, I think it's pretty good. It's 3 million gold, 400 L4, and 300 power cores. It's not bad for just giving free stuff away. So yeah, I like it.
No grinding needed. Just enter the codes and you get it. You have to enter it in time though, but yeah, no grinding needed. And just make sure you enter before they expire. I have no idea when it's expiring exactly, but it's expired sometime today. Let's get into this Cosmic Crucible tournament. Let's jump back onto the test server and talk about your experience with winning the tournament. Where's the rankings? Yeah. There you are. 149,000 points compared to, man, mine was so low. I had 131,000 points. I came in 7th place. I almost beat Juicy though. Our score with Juicy was very, very close. But I killed by Diamond Dave, and I beat Bendable. I think he said he screwed up on one of the rooms there. So that is what happened to me. I had a lot of fun. I think the best thing was this match with Juicy. You said you hadn't seen a Accursed versus Accursed. Let me show this to you while you're talking about your experience, because we did end up winning this matchup. What are your thoughts on the Cursed, and what are some things that you learned during this tournament?
So right off the bat, as you see, they have one glaring weakness, which is they don't have immunity on spawn. If they had immunity on spawn, because Satana needs to take a turn, and the ultimate basically gets the immunity on the team, that causes Juggernaut to get the safeguard on the team. So that's a huge glaring issue where Satana has 125 speed. So if you can actually get enough characters that's over that speed that can actually get stuns out there, you can actually control the team fairly easily. So that is a glaring weakness on it. I did end up using Quasar. I had Professor X on offense during this because everybody had Professor X. So that is something that I did end up doing. I don't think you actually need him. You could probably slot in like a Captain Britain to stop the speed instead. I actually had so Black Cat would end up stunning Satana, and then I'd kind of go all in depending on the rooms to try to take out either Satana, Helverine, or try to drop Juggernaut low enough, because if he's under 50% health, he's not going to get the reflexive taunt. So they are able to kind of be controlled if they're on the defensive side thing, but it takes a lot of parts away. So I do actually like the team overall.
See, you use Professor X to beat them, and what Chow was learning as we're doing this, it's hard to beat this team unless you got a Professor X, unless you're doing a mirror matchup. And I found with this, it seems like it's better to have the enemy go first, because now our Satana is going to go and we're going to get some of the health back. If you look at my Hood, watch what happens here. We start to heal, whereas that would have been us on the other side. Their Satana is low, and now Hood goes on Helverine. Oh, that's their Hood. We almost actually die here coming up. So Hood goes on Satana again. Just trying to focus on Satana. Now you were thinking Juggernaut is a bigger threat. I was thinking Satana is a threat. Why is Juggernaut the bigger threat? I was thinking Satana because of the health that she steals in her drains. What did you notice about Juggernaut that you were telling me earlier, brother?
All right, so Juggernaut had actually really good rework to where he's like the third highest damage dealer in the game. That Hellrain move just jacked you up, by the way. But Juggernaut there, as you see now, he has like that reflexive taunt, so you end up getting stuck on him and having it to where he can get his special off, cleansing off of him, getting more immunity out there for additional safeguard. He's a huge problem. Now, I do think the team's going to scale really well to where when you get that like Helverine up, that ultimate could end up kind of wiping you. Satana is a great character, and she's going to make it to where like the cleanup's going to be easier, but Juggernaut's just way too powerful if you end up getting stuck behind the taunt's my main concern.
So would you just build up your Juggernauts for the Cosmic? If you're into Cosmic Crucible, would you just build your Juggernaut to the moon right now? Like gear 20, possibly, even if you don't have Professor X, or only if you have Professor X, you build them that high?
I was honestly thinking about that. So if I had to look at like and they just fell over dead on that one.
Yeah. And what is Satana? Satana keeps doing that. She keeps attacking us after we're done. All right, now we're done.
I don't know what that thing was.
That happened every single fight. I'll show you another one when where the Professor X beat from Diamond Dave beat us on defense. So you can see how that matchup went. But it's a tough matchup. It's a tough matchup. This is the replay of this one. They use Quasar. He used Quasar, Black Cat, a bunch of stuff, and Professor X didn't do very well. It was all the other characters that did the work against this team. Yeah,
I think as far as like the tournament goes, like Black Cat, Quasar, Professor X was like the main trio. And then I threw in on one matchup when I went against Mephisto in stage 2, I threw in Kingpin. That way the summon would come down, he'd have the taunt, then that minion would end up taking all the hits. Lady Deathstrike was great as far as just a damage perspective, because you can't rewind the team, but you can do like good damage, a bleed damage and everything. So that was an option. I
actually take that back about Professor X. He did a lot of work on this team. I was thinking of another matchup. My Professor X didn't even take a turn, but yeah, Professor X smashed it on this matchup right now.
Yeah, another one I did was Nova, because I can get the stun from Black Cat into Satana. Then my plan initially was to use Nova as another stun. I ended up using him as a basic to get off Juggernaut's taunt, so that was something I did end up doing for a move. But I think there's the trio right now. If you have Xavier, it's going to be Xavier, Black Cat, Quasar. If you don't have X, I think you could throw in Captain Britain. You can throw in Mephisto as well, and that could kind of do something. because they don't get the speed if they're a hero, but if they're a villain like Mephisto, you'd still be able to get his speed in the back to pull it off. So
did you see that? Did you see that, Mordo? Did you see Mordo just smash Professor X?
Yeah.
Now,
what room is this one in?
This is room 1. This is room 1.
Oh, room 1. Okay.
Yeah, so I don't know if he had vulnerable on him, but yeah, this was room 1. Now, as if you don't have Professor X and you don't have a full Accurse, and you see Accurse on defense, is it possible to beat them? Like, can you do it with Captain Britain in place of Professor X?
I think you can use Britain because that's going to end up stopping the turn meter that Juggernaut would normally get, which is something that Professor X kind of provides to the team, is stopping it. Then he's very quick to where he can kind of, I usually used his special into Helverine to ability block him. And I would try to take out with Quasar and Black Cat, do the very much like get the control into Satana. So that was kind of the moves I was making.
Gotcha. Now, any other lessons you learned, not just about Accurse, but or just any of these rooms or any of the teams did you learn from this? For me, Super Scroll freaking kills it in this room right now. I think he had like 4 or 5 vulnerables on him, and he just destroyed my entire team. Like, that wasn't expected. And I guess some of that is because I hadn't played too hard this weekend and familiarized myself with the rules of Cosmic this season of Cosmic Crucible. But man, Super Scroll was the big winner for me in room 1. What were some lessons that you learned, or maybe you learned it over the weekend that you applied it in this tournament?
Yeah, so for stage 1, I was running Phoenix Force, Thanos Endgame, Super Scroll, and I had Shadow King in there. Shadow King just kind of So some people try to use like a Star Jammers, which doesn't work in stage 1 because they end up kind of flipping their vulnerables into regen, so they actually don't get the extra damage. You can definitely finesse it. People try to do Vigilante. Vigilante doesn't really work in that because Shadow King actually throws that portion off on it. And some people are just more used to like the live game where you have overpowered diamonds and stuff like that. And that playing on an even battlefield definitely kind of changes things as far as that goes. Stage 4, I had my Mephisto, I had Null, and basically like the Captain Britain, New Emma, Black Knight team in there. That pulled a couple victories for me. Thunderbolts, they have a very easy counter in stage 5.
Cabal.
Where you could do Cabal. It's Cabal, Ares, King. That just walks over it. And I wasn't sure if I needed Ares
Cabal,
or
Kang, Titania. I went old school and it still works. So you don't even need to go new school with that. I switched out the Vigilantes into the Thunderbolt room because Cabal was just beating him. I was like, yeah, maybe this will trip him. Well, Juicy knows what to do. He just smashed the Vigilantes. But I don't think anything's going to be good in stage 5. Thunderbolt's not very good. I don't think anything really holds unless you put like a blank team in there that would win regardless of the rooms. Stage 5 is kind of a nothing room, I think.
Juicy was really smart on stage 5. He pulled off
I'm not surprised about that at all, dude. That's Juicy we're talking about.
Yeah, exactly. But he pulled off Songbird, so he could use Songbird on offense, and then he just threw Hela in there, so that way you killed Greg, you get the turn meter rewind. And I still used the same counter, so it still pulled my Cabal team. So, and you got a new weapon out of it. So that's something I'm going to probably end up looking at doing as well.
Now let's talk about the room 6, Dorky Dad's room. It was his broken headset from smashing it all those years ago. End turn, remove safeguard trauma from all characters on successful attack, copy, throw out positive effects, and yeah, all right. So that is his room. Have you thought about what you're gonna do as the winner? I know I asked you about this before. I said, right, I wanna get my live reaction to what you think your room are. So what thoughts have you put into your room?
So I want to do something kind of thematic. I love comic books, comic book movies, and all that stuff. So I wanted to do something kind of laying into that foundation.
Okay, I like what I'm hearing so far.
One thing I'm currently looking at is like a heroes versus villains is one of the main things I'm looking at right now. I wanted to do like maybe X-Men versus Avengers, but that might be a little more difficult because we have some newer X-Men characters. We don't have a lot of newer Avengers. And trying to boost the stats, it's going to be way too difficult. But
and then you got that weird uncanny Avenger. You got that uncanny Avenger team with people with tags for both teams.
Yeah, exactly. So something I'm looking at right now is a heroes versus villains, to where I want you to try to use like 5 heroes versus 5 villains type of thing. So if you have villains, you might get extra damage, maybe ultimates throw out trauma. For the hero side, you get the extra health and dishing out ability energy on your turn to your adjacent allies. I think that'd be a little interesting. So that's something I'm kind of toying with right now.
I like weird stuff like that, like stuff that you normally wouldn't play and combos you wouldn't have to do. I like weird stuff like this. There was a few weird rooms the previous season that they took out because I don't know. I guess it was either too hard or didn't make the feature team look as good as it should have. But I like weird rooms, like weird rules and things like that. So I think it was I like that. I think it's a good thing. Let's get back to the. Oh, sorry. What else?
I was gonna say I wish they'd put that one room back in that stage 4 during the tournament that we had, where it's like the extra 300% resistance. That thing was crazy.
I like weird stuff like that. Yeah, it just changes the game, which is kind of like why I'm liking Danger Room, because it's just a weird stuff that wouldn't feel appropriate in normal gameplay, but it feels very appropriate for Danger Room. So yeah, I like it. All right, let's get back into my main account here. Talk about this current season of Cosmic Crucible. Last week was the first week we had season 15 rules. What were your thoughts in season 15? And I think my defense was very similar to what I used in the Cosmic Crucible tournament as well. I think with this Super Scroll, he's going to move room 1, and I'm not sure what they're going to do with the rest of this room, but yeah, Super Scroll is going to stage 1. What are your thoughts on this past season? Because this was the first weekend we had this.
Yeah, so we got the extra week of practice basically on this. Stage 3, when a curse comes out, I definitely want to throw them in stage 3 because that throws people off. Otherwise, for now, I do like that maybe as a Kahori room, or just keep a Kahori on offense, because especially in every turn is pretty impactful. The crits making it to where you suck or make them lose the ultimate ability energy. That is something I'm looking at, but I'm looking more at characters that can really take advantage of the specials, kind of spam the specials is something I actually look at when I look at the stage 3, because that is pretty interesting. Stage 4 with the extra damage and having permanent damage, I really like looking at newer characters in that one. So the newer characters have the extra damage, and them getting the extra 50% damage, like Mephisto when he does the empowered basic, it just deletes whoever you want turn 1. So that is something I do like to look at for stage 4. Stage 2, where you have the Night Stalker Scientist Supreme, I actually moved that over to stage 6, and that was tripping people up because Scientist Supreme does the ultimate, and that ends up taking all the buffs away from the opponent. So you just like strip them right off the bat. It's actually pretty interesting mechanic for that one. Okay,
so 2 changes for me. Moving Super Scroll to room 1. I'm gonna move 2 to something else, and I'll figure something else out. What are you doing for 2? I'll just do that.
For stage 2, I just treated that more like a dead room. I had Liberty with Ultimates in there, and
maybe just switch up 2 and 6, maybe.
I would honestly take apart your Phoenix Force, throw that in stage 1 with Thanos Super Scroll, and whoever you want as the 5th. Because that's gonna
I think I need more changes than a few. Then we'll talk later. We'll talk later. All right. But yeah, I played it the first day, which is more than the whole season, the previous season, because I don't think I played the whole last season. I played the first day, and then I was like, oh, I gotta play this. We got Odin milestones. I have to play it this season. And after I lost one in the day 2, I'm like, screw it. I'm just getting my attacks in. I'm not gonna. And I did that on day 3 as well. So yeah. So I think I'm gonna play it again. And now that I'm more familiar with the rules after that tournament, play it seriously again. But I'd probably just do it for the Odin milestones right now. All right. New team, the Accursed team. We talked about them a little bit. Let's go into a little more specifics of them, character by character. Satana. That was the scariest one to me. I guess I didn't pay too much attention to Juggernaut, but what do you like about Satana? And what is your speed? It says 124 here. I think it said 125 on the test server. What was the final word? What's 125? Okay, so this is wrong because I know one of these it said it's going to add 0% speed on the test server, but it had the correct number here. So something like this under something about a passive was wrong on the test server, but was right.
Yeah, the passive has like a plus 0%. Like when you kill, it is build speed bar by 5%.
This one,
so it's
this
5%.
one, this one, yeah, this one here, I think, right?
Yeah, on the test server was saying plus 0%, so we didn't know what the number was.
Well, you gotta. Normally we get a PDF with the skills, and then we could cross-reference it with test server. And normally when the PDF's wrong, the test server is right. However, this time there was some wrong things on the test server too, so it was kind of weird. But
yeah,
for this one, the PDF was right. It was correct on that one.
Yeah.
Right, but back to Satana. What are your loyal thoughts on her? How impactful is she to this team? I thought she was the most important baby. Like I said, I underestimated Juggernaut, but other than that, I think she's like one of the most important to the team. Yeah,
she's the anchor of the team. She has so much health steal, which is actually gonna keep her around even when the team kind of ends up start fizzling out.
All of her moves,
do some plug and play because
all of her moves, basic, special, and the ultimate.
And all of them ignore like passive effects. So like Thanos' push, she ignores all of that. And 125 speed.
Oh, hold on.
You see like a world.
So the end game Thanos, if she's stealing that, he drops below 50% out. That does not trigger his passive.
Exactly. Yep.
Oh, okay. I have to make use of that. All right, Satana, the end game Thanos counter.
Yeah, she's really good. She's the anchor on the team. Even when the team fizzles out, like I said, she's going to end up being very, very impactful as far as what she can end up providing, I think.
Now, as far as the primary, your first target, is it all for you? Is it always going to be Juggernaut, or might it shift to Satana based on how your enemies have them built?
For me, I'm always going to try to stun Satana and then maybe drop Juggernaut down by about 50% and then try to finish off like get ability block on Helverine, because I don't want Helverine doing his ultimate, and then from there try to kill off Satana. That's kind of my
control everybody. Just control everybody because it's so dangerous. It sounds like.
Yeah, pretty much.
All right, let's move on. Let's move on to the guy that almost killed my entire Accursed team, Helverine. What are your thoughts on this guy? Speed 122. He seems like he has a lot of damage.
Yeah, he really does. And if you have Safeguard on you, he gets the extra damage from the ultimate. So it's not pretty.
Unless it's your own Helverine, then it's very pretty, right?
Yeah, I believe it's him where they have Safeguard, they get extra damage. Is it him? I thought it was him. But yeah, he hits like a Mack truck.
Yeah, very, very good. Any other thoughts on Helverine before we move on to the hood?
He's going to scale incredibly well. I think when he comes out, people's going to say he's terrible and he's not great. And then it's going to turn into another Gore situation where when you get diamonds on Gore, he's really good. I think Helverine's going to turn out to be the same way.
Man, I think it's funny. Gore was like the least valuable of the three new Annihilators, and now he's someone that's used all over the place. I see him all over the place.
Exactly.
And sometimes I don't see Gladiator all the time. I sometimes see Endgame Thanos, but yeah, all the time is Gladiators. I mean, Gore. So interesting. Yeah. He might turn into the guy. That's interesting. He might turn into the guy. Hood, 124 speed. He's the blaster. He has a lot of damage as well. What are your thoughts on Hood?
Hood is interesting. Like his basic, it's only like 50% piercing, but in reality, it's 6 shots of it, so it's 300% piercing. So that's something I had to really look at. That is ISO doing just a flat 225 on top of it.
Oh,
I could see a world where I actually make him a striker instead of a raider.
So the basic is really good for like when there's a death proof or something that you need extra hits to get through. If there's like 3 death proofs and you're trying to get through that, you get them down. You could remove all those death proofs with those, I guess, 6 hits, like you said, right? So that's what that's for, instead of just 300% piercing.
Yeah, that's immediately where my head went to, but the team actually stops death proofs, so you don't really need that, but it's still a lot of damage to where you just kind of like chunk people down. So I am kind of toying with the idea of striker on him. I immediately went raider just because it's so many shots. I want to try to get as many vulnerables out on the field as possible. That's something I was kind of looking at.
Well, I mean, death proof, but evades, deflects, all that stuff would be gone from this basic. So that's where something like this is used. So multiple hits instead of just having that flat damage. Any other thoughts on the Hood?
I thought he would be better than he was. I mean, his kid doesn't like sound like, hey, I'm going to be amazing. I was hoping he'd be better. He's not a trash character by any means. Like his passive kind of carries the team in quite a big way. So like enemies cannot get the bonus damage. Here enemies can't gain bonus resistance and everything. The speed up and charge, like preventing that. It shuts down Odin. So he
no taunt. And just heroes. But
yeah, and enemies cannot fill a speed bar. So he's like a standing passive is what I really think of what he is.
Yeah. So all right. Really good characters. I think all of them have use cases for this team, but yeah. Satana's my favorite, but yeah, that Helverine hood not trash at all. All right, let's talk about the big guy that was trash for so many years and is now, I guess, back in the meta, top of the damage dealing scale of this game.
Yeah.
Juggernaut. My goodness. All right, what is his reworks? What stands out to you about his reworks? Because there's a lot here.
So let's start by looking at the ultimate first, because I kind of want to discuss the ultimate. So it's 380% damage, 100% drain. He gains an extra 80% additional damage per charged. He gets charged on his basic. So if you make him a striker, that ISO hit's going to do an additional charge, I believe. So he gets up to maximum of 4, making it to where that's going to, when he gets the ultimate pulled off, it just mows through people. Because like I said, he's the 3rd highest damage dealer, 380% damage, 100% drain, 80% per charge. It's really easy to get over 500% damage on that move, and it's hidden primary and adjacent, and no revive.
That's strong. And he can't be revived, so screw Dormammu, screw old man Logan. There's probably a bunch of other characters that aren't coming to my head right now, but yeah, this not revived is pretty important also.
Yeah, and his passive, if you go down to the passive, so like that first line, go down to the new.
Oh, sorry, the new,
there it is.
Yeah.
On turn, gain +1 charge up to maximum of 4. So he's getting charged that way.
So
and if you have that striker
times, what is that? 80%. So
80.
4 times 8, 360.
320 or 360. Yeah.
300 something more damage.
It's too early.
I can't math off the top of my head right now.
But the
top
line is something I also look at, because if they end up dropping that first attack, having it to where he has extra charge, he's going to be filling that speed bar when those charges start getting removed. That's something I look at as well. So making it to where the follow-up is going to be more difficult, because having him as a striker, getting those charges, it's going to be an issue, I think, especially with 3 diamonds on Juggernaut, because they handed out 3 diamonds for him. So I actually really like this character.
You got to plan around him now. Oh, I think everybody's going to like their own Juggernauts. I think everybody's hate the opponent's Juggernauts, because this guy's a problem, man.
The enemy Juggernaut's going to be a huge problem.
I don't like enemy Juggernaut. I'm going to like my own Juggernaut, but everybody else's Juggernaut.
Yeah, and he's like the second anchor on the team, because he's the one where it's the 4th line. When this character loses immunity, reduce the duration of safeguard. However, when he gains immunity, which is the line above it, he's going to apply safeguard. So the immunity's 100% important on this team that kind of functions around it. And having the immunity gain the safeguard is just massive for this team.
That's why that Satana ultimate opening is so important for him.
Yeah.
All right. Let's talk about the one that nobody's mentioning, but did manage to kill the Professor X on the opponent's team, and that was Mordo. What are your thoughts on Mordo? It seems like he's kind of the same guy. He has a very similar basic, similar ultimate, similar special.
Right.
Got a little stuff extended to curse, but I don't know. It feels weak. What are your thoughts? Am I wrong on that, or you agree?
So I did use the full team on defense in stage 3 because the room rolls. I want to take advantage of the room rolls. Yeah. The Accursed team, they have so long of cooldowns that if you end up doing that one burn attack, the follow-up becomes much easier. So if I can make it to where I try to spam the specials as much as possible, I do the crits, reduce the enemy ultimate abilities, I'll eventually get my ultimates pulled off when I start kind of steamrolling. That was my thought process behind it. Mordo has very short cooldowns. I think it's like a 4-turn special and like a 5-turn ultimate. So making it to where I could keep spamming that special and stun somebody every single turn is something I was really looking at. for keeping the team together. The passive, wish
let's go back to the
was-
special. How useful has this been for you? Because I'm finding a lot of teams nowadays have, or a lot of characters have immunity on them. So you're not going to land a stun. You're not going to land the blind. So how much has this been useful for you, this special?
I don't know if he was kind of carrying anything, but his passive does make it to where he starts healing characters up when I start getting kills. So that was like something else I was kind of looking at. And I wish they updated the on death of a mystic. It does the heal and then grants 1 to 2 ability energy for self and ally. So I'd like it's the bottom line. If this character, if the character that died was a mystic, generate 2 ability energy to supernatural or self. I wish they put Accursed on there. That would kind of really lift the team up.
Would that have been too over? I haven't thought about it too much, but would that have been too strong? If it was Accursed,
Not
they
really,
didn't extend it to supernatural.
Because the team has if there's 3 or more Accursed allies, so people would still want to kind of theory craft. So it's like, okay, do I want to try to keep getting ability energy, or do I want to try to throw like a Mephisto or Odin or something like that with this team? So I think that's something that they could have done, and people would have to think, do I want the ability energy or like a mythic character on here type of thing?
Gotcha. All right. So yeah, looks very, very good. Last question about this team. Any Dark Dimension viability in your estimation?
Dark Dimension, I mean, Satana has such long cooldowns, so does Helverine. Maybe Juggernaut, just because I really like him on this team. I think he's a sleeper pick for a lot of people.
I guess a global villain section, maybe taking him into the Dark Dimension 8. Would you try him out in the Professor X saga? Because those are a little different in Dark Dimensions. It's not where you're chipping it away. You do have to one-shot these nodes. So do you think Juggernaut has any value for Professor X saga?
So the full team is Mystics. That's kind of the elephant in the room, right? Because Mystic is so important for the Xavier saga.
Odin, all those other characters, Blade, Oath.
Having it to where Juggernaut's global villain is so easy. I wouldn't hate bringing him along to that section. Satana's a cosmic villain. That's like the Annihilator's Null and like Shadow King right now. So
no for these guys. Just because there's other better characters in those tags.
Yeah, because I'd rather take Null or Mephisto into the cosmic villain section. So I don't really think so. And Hood, he's a global, right? Or is he city for the Hood?
Let's go down. I don't remember. That's Hellbrow. Hood's under Helverine. Hood is global mystic.
Global? Okay. So I mean, maybe we can fit the Hood in, but I don't think you really need the Hood huge because he's that standing passive for the team. I'd probably go Juggernaut over the Hood, to be honest, just to get that Juggernaut so much bigger that he can just blast people.
All right. Well, hopefully someone has the resources they can test it out and let the rest of the community know. I do want to test it, but I'm very short on resources. I can't spend all that stuff right now. All right. Let's move on. Let's move on to think that I've been having a lot of fun with the Danger Room, collecting some of these yellow tokens. I finally can get these raid rules on right now. Ooh, what are you doing with this Danger Room? Are you pushing on this? I think it's pretty easy to get the rewards, although I thought they were cumulative at first, but now I'm hearing they might have switched this over to only taking your max run. I guess let's first start with that. What have you heard about this? Is it only max run? Because it seems like every run, even the ones that I did this morning, were adding on to this. I saw somebody in Reddit that, hey, they switched this. It seems like they're still adding this, though. Have you heard anything about it being switched to just your top run, or if it's still cumulative?
As far as I know, I thought it was still cumulative. I'd probably butcher that word because English is hard.
I know what you meant, though. I know what you meant. It's fine.
Yeah. Because from my understanding, as long as you do one of the elite combat mods, then the score kind of stacks. But maybe that's what's happening. Maybe they're thinking it's not stacking because they're not doing one of the combat mods. That is something that I should have been communicated, because if you don't do one of the elite combat missions, none of your score counts. So maybe that's what that person on Reddit was experiencing.
All right, but
yeah,
back to your fun. What are your thoughts on this? Is it everything that you were expecting it to be? I know you didn't get a chance to go to someone to test it out, but you did test it on a test server. So did that meet your expectations?
The test server definitely kind of set my expectations. Like, okay, this is actually really fun. I do enjoy that type of game mode in other games, so having that here I think is really cool. And starting with those 2 characters, I think they can kind of fine tune some of the earlier nodes. I know they made some adjustments to it already. But
there's still some hard ones in there, man. You get a Sinister Six and Illuminati on one of the earlier nodes without a lot of your cards stacked up and a lot of characters. It's hard. I think I just automatically reset when I see that.
The one that I kept struggling with is when I wanted to test out Thunderbolts. Because it's like, okay, I got Vigilante. I did several runs with them. I did Starjammers. I did several runs with those. Let me try the Thunderbolts. I kept getting the Infinity Watch with like Cable, Bishop, Iceman, and I couldn't clear that. I'm like, what is going on? I even had some mods on at the start. I'm like, all right, Thunderbolts is not the way to go.
There's some that you get really bad RNG, but I think that adds to the fun. You know, if every time you're going in and smash, and sometimes you just smash it because you get like exit wounds where you get all the bleeds and you get all that. They just die all the time. That's actually pretty fun for me too. I get like the perfect RNG, and then there's those times when it's like, all right, I got to strategize. I'm going to try to go through this, and that's also fun. So I think I'm having fun with all of it. The bad ones, the good ones, and the ones that are actually challenging.
Yeah, I wanted to try to find the like Easter egg for Star-Lord. So I tried doing like a Star-Lord and Groot, Star-Lord and Rocket, something for the start. Just Rocket and Groot for the start, and then trying to find Star-Lord was the route I started taking. Just because I couldn't get Star-Lord kind of going. But I want to see what kind of combat mods they kind of gave him for like an Easter egg.
How big is your Star-Lord? Because I see that mod that I could increase the stuff for like Star-Lord, like this one, Star-Lord, Cyclops. Like, yeah, I'm just going to bring in my Vigilantes or something. They're way bigger. Iron Patriot is all right, but you know, that Thunderbolt trait, my Thunderbolts aren't really built up. So I just end up using the main like 3. I use most of my runs are just Vigilante based, but once in a while I'll try some different things. But that's the weird ones. But I guess that's my question. How big are these other characters for you? Is it worth like, trying to do that for? No, it's not big. It's just for the fun of it.
Yeah, I was just trying to do like the rental cards, like rent out Star-Lord, and then try to see if I could find like what kind of mods they were going to give him. I just couldn't get far enough in with Star-Lord. I might give that another go tonight because I love Star-Lord. I want to see what they end up giving him for maybe like a dance-off mod or something. I don't know.
That's cool. And all of it is just kind of just for fun, because if you've already cleared the milestone rewards, I don't know if these ranking rewards are really worth pushing for, but there is something that I think is worth pushing for. And the global milestone for all these Victoria hand shards were done within the first few hours. So a lot of people are playing the danger room, and then we got these other ones like what is Juggernaut? What does Mortal mean? What does all this stuff? And I like these global milestones. What are your thoughts on these global milestones? We've had them before. This is for me the most enjoyable because we've had some decent rewards. This is a new character that everybody gets unlocked for free.
Yeah, this is by far like the best global milestone we've had in this game. Given 100 shards of a new character, all that intel, and then kind of doing a tease as like who's getting reworked next. That was fantastic. I hope they keep this up.
Well, next time we see some diamonds for some random characters, like, oh, I guess they're getting reworked. Now we know what's happening.
Yeah, exactly.
They're not random. They mean something. Everything means something in this game. All right. Final thoughts on Danger Room. I know you're having fun. I'm having fun, but not everybody is having fun with it. What if somebody's not having fun with it? I mean, they might not just be enjoying the mode. It might not just be for them, but it might be. If it is, what are they missing? What could they be missing about this mode that might make it a little more enjoyable for them?
So the feedback I was hearing for people that weren't enjoying it, it's too much of like a casino effect where it's like you might be trying to push for like the Starjammers team, and then you're not getting those characters to drop, which is part of the RNG fest of it, but getting those mods kind of working into it. So I tried doing a run where I just wanted to try to find Starjammers. I ended up having, by the end of it, 2 Starjammers, 2 Vigilante, 1 Thunderbolt, and I was able to get fairly far. It's like, okay, so now at this point is where we do the reset, now we have these extra mods. Now you could start getting these mods on at the start. You go through. So I think it's more people not understanding to the full effect of what this game mode is kind of the main issue. Then once they started understanding, they started saying, okay, I'm having a lot of fun now that I know what I'm doing. So I think that's part of the issue is maybe they need a tutorial to kind of understand what's going on.
Yeah, I think they did need some things explained. You know, having your score cumulative, I think that is a pretty important thing. Most of the points come from the boss. So if you're going through these runs and you never beat the boss, you're not going to have a big score. So you do need to do some easy runs, make it easier for yourself, beat the boss, because most of the points will come from that. So if you're not completing your runs and you're like, I don't have a lot of points, it's why you gotta beat some runs. And I think if you beat even stage 4 a few times, completely, you got all the milestones done. And it's not that hard to beat the milestones if you complete this a few times. So I think that's the biggest misconception.
Do 2 runs at difficulty 5. Make sure you hit at least one of those elite combat mods. That's going to get you the whole milestone.
That's the other thing. Yes, that's the other thing that wasn't fully explained, I think. So
I don't think it was intended.
All right, so I think those are the 2 major things. Most of the points from the boss, you need to do elite missions for your score to count towards the milestones, but I think it is still cumulative. And for me, even bad runs, if I get some of these yellow X coins, I'm like, all right, success. I got something towards this because I can start working to put more mods on, have more fun with it. So I really enjoy this mode. Let me know your comments down below, Valley Club. What do you enjoy about Danger Room? Or if you don't like it, let me know what you don't like it. Hopefully everybody understands it at the very least. And if you enjoy it or not, then that's fine. All right, let's move on to this. Yes.
My question for you is on Danger Room. They came out with a communication that they're already working on the 2nd iteration of this in June.
Yes.
For me, I want them to update the boss node to be more like the Xavier Saga bosses, the Null Battle World boss, and have it be like Nimrod there or Sentinel there, like Magneto, something of that sense. What's something that you want changed? I'm kind of curious.
Ooh. I know what they want to do with this, right? They want to market the most recent teams, but that only allows us to use the most recent teams. So I don't know if they would, because it is kind of a marketing thing. They want to try to showcase those teams. I would like it expanded to other teams. I don't think that's going to be possible. So the increasing the boss difficulty would be fine, but I think I like it like this. I think for newer players, though, or people that don't understand this, I think a better tutorial or a little bit more explanations on some of the nuances that people might not get. I think just having that for me would be fine, because I like this, and the thing that I want, I don't think would happen.
Yeah.
All right, and we were talking a little bit about this before we started recording. Quasar, I got him unlocked last week. You got him unlocked last week. I think you're for highly engaged. You got him unlocked last week, but there's still some people that don't have him unlocked, and you're saying that something to do with the command center. Why do some people not have him unlocked? Because to me, this was kind of simple after a while, but initially it was a little confusing. So why do some people not have Quasar unlocked? Are they just not engaged, or is there some confusion with the way this command center is working?
I think it might be a little bit of confusion on how it works. So for the daily, I do the battle and raid and spend the campaign energy every day to end up finishing it. The gold, I don't do daily. I think you'll need to do that 4 times throughout the month. So anytime new character comes out, you should be good.
That's what you want to unlock. I'm doing it daily because I want all the intel that I can get.
Yeah, I think that should get you the intel too, because we have the weekly stuff. And if you spend that 300,000 intel every week, so make sure you're spending that. I think the issue could be the monthly portion, because there is the portion in there where it's battle and raids with the vigilante characters.
This is 30 points. This is 30 points. If you take away 30 points from where I'm at, I would have had Quasar unlocked already. So even if you don't have any of these, you're missing on 30. You're missing out on 30 points. That's not a lot when you're looking at just for the Quasar unlock.
Yeah, in the overarching, it's not a lot. Same with the Thunderbolts. I did the Thunderbolts too, which is another 30 right there.
Yeah. I don't have them all either. I don't have them all either.
So I'm wondering if people are not spending the 300k intel, because the intel is pretty massive as far as the points goes. So I think this is what that's lacking.
This is
45 every 2.
45 every week. Yeah. So this monthly stuff, the 30 that you're missing on is not that much as this. They must have missed some of the weekly. Maybe they didn't spend as much intel. That's where the activity was lacking, I think.
That's my thinking, because the dailies, I'm doing 2 out of 3 every day. The weekly, I'm making sure to hit that 300K. And then the monthly is just kind of the extra push type of thing, like the extra 30 points of each team. So I think might be where some of the disconnect is.
Yeah, I think you're right. So if you don't have Quasar unlocked, it's probably this weekly milestone right now. So spend more intel, at least 300,000 every week, and then you can move on. It's hoarded at that point. But make sure you're getting these milestones. It seems pretty simple. Like I said, I was confused after the first week as well, but after that, I get it, and it's easy. So hopefully this makes sense, and you could get that Quasar unlocked if you don't already have him unlocked.
Yep, definitely. He's turned out to be a great character in that 5C tournament, so very happy with him. Yeah,
not just war. So not just a war character. I like it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yes. Let's move on to this one now. Quasar Red Star effect. I didn't make a video. I didn't comment on this. It's pretty easy. And I think if you're trying to unlock a character, I think that difficulty is fine. Having a leaderboard effect, that's fine. We don't really have a strong leaderboard for this. I think what do you get for this? Like Cosmic, some borders and stuff like that. I'm not going to go back and do another run for that. But I don't know. It was pretty easy. Got to it the first time. I think that's kind of proper though, because as endgame players, that's not as fun for us. But I think what they want to do with this event is get the red stars easily into everybody's hands. And for that to happen, they need to make this event easy. So I get why they're doing it. It wasn't as fun as I was hoping it would be, but like I said, I get why they did it. So I'm not upset with it. What are your thoughts on it? What did you get any fun from this?
It was really easy. So I did difficulty 10, all mods.
Actually, you know what? Let me take that back. I did have to reset a few times. So it wasn't like, just auto. I did have to reset a few times. This is what I did, difficulty 10 right away. So yeah, but I wouldn't want to play it again. It was fun for the first time.
Yeah, same. Yeah, I'm in the same boat. So I did the one run. I don't really want to do it again because the leaderboards don't really do anything for me. But I did all mods, and I believe once you get to node 6, that's the issue that's some people's running into if they don't have Quasar.
So let's go look at these. I don't remember what node 6 is. Who are the enemies in node 6 here?
I think it was node 6.
I guess I am starting a new run. No,
that node right there. So I had to reset about 2 or 3 times on that node because I kept accidentally pushing the Thanos endgame and trying to get the control on Kahori. But overall, that one was easy. The last node was challenging with the Odin on there. So like trying to either control the Odin, because if we have Quasar, if you have the battlefield effect for the ultimate, which is only pay gated, it makes it much easier. Otherwise, it's going to end up becoming like a 2-tap node. Try to take out Shadow King and Odin, then go in with a cleanup, is what I'm hearing as far as what people have to do on that one.
All right. So I was playing this in my car while my girls were doing a soccer practice. So I was like, this is cool. And I got to it quick. I don't remember it. I did have fun with it.
Yeah.
Though. But I don't want to do it again. I felt kind of the same way as the negative zone. You know, I had fun with this the first week. It was new content. I always love new content. But I don't know, playing the same content that I already beat psychologically doesn't feel as good. And then like for the negative zone, having to beat this over and over, it is just as difficult today after building up my vigilantes pretty significantly. Just as difficult today as it was on day 1. So that psychologically, again, doesn't feel good. If I'm playing the same content over and over and I'm building up my characters, psychologically, I should feel like, it should get easier and easier, but it's not. So I don't know. That's my thoughts on a negative zone. I like new content. It's not new anymore. I've been playing this for 3 weeks now. So what are your thoughts on a negative zone? Similar or totally different?
So for the negative zone, I forget to do it sometimes, which is a shame because we have a Odin Diamond leaderboard associated with it. So I know I missed 1 entire day of doing the run. Then there was 2 days where I had it set for me to do the run in the morning. I ended up doing it at night, so that sets off the timer. I wish this was like a 1 and done or 2 and done type of thing and it wasn't tied to a leaderboard.
It was the first week. The first week it was. I loved it the first week.
I loved it the first few days. After that, it just kind of, it feels like a chore, and I don't want this game to feel like a chore is my main thing.
Yeah, I need fun content or challenging content with good rewards. And for the first time, this is just challenging content. The rewards are okay. But now it's just like, I'm grinding, and it's not even for the negative zone rewards. It's all for these Odin milestones, and you get some negative zone fragments for every node that you beat of the negative zone. So you're getting some points there. And I'm doing this for these Odin diamonds. I'm doing the negative zone for the Odin diamonds. Where are you ranked, and what do you hope to finish at?
I'm currently at like the 6,000 range, so I'm out of the Odin diamond. So I'm gonna have to buy an offer or two. Okay. Which I hate doing that, but I need to get at least one diamond on Odin, so I'm gonna have to open the wallet, unfortunately, on this one.
I did open the wallet a little bit because I missed not just one day, I missed multiple days. I'm like, I'm not gonna be grinding this whole time and spending power cores and miss this. So I went and spent some money. Spent like $30, and where am I right now? I'm not where $30 should be on this for someone that's grinding at the end game and bought some of these teams. So I may spend more power cores. I think I bought 30 orbs, so 10 each of the thunderbolts, and I have them unlocked. But I was hoping that spending those power cores would get me a little higher. So I'm gonna have to either push a little bit more, or I'm gonna get those diamonds and Odin. So I'll do what I need to do to get the diamonds and Odin.
Yeah, I hope this 2-week leaderboard was just a test, and it's like, hey, we don't like it. Please don't do this again.
No, haven't you learned? It has nothing to do with whether players like it or not. It's a profitability. If it was profitable, they will do it again. If it's not profitable, they do not care if people liked it or not. If they made money and they're going to continue to make money, that's what they're going to do. That should not be a surprise at all.
That is true.
All right, and I don't think that's a bad thing, but just temper your expectations. It's not based on the enjoyment; it's based on the financials. If they do these events again or not.
Yeah.
All right. Next thing, we have bumps. We got some characters added to the bumps, and I have not seen them, but you sent me your screenshot of the Starjammers added to the Diamond Store. So they did go to the basic, ultimate, mega, premium orbs, but also the supply section, and this is your store just before we recorded. So the Lalandra is in there. 3 diamonds, and you got a beefy Lalandra just before we recorded. Congratulations on that, by the way.
Hopefully what are the thoughts on do something?
What? I missed it. I was talking.
I said hopefully that means her ultimate can actually do something now.
Wait, my Lalandra smashed it. Maybe my competition from not playing Cosmic Crucible for all those weeks is at a decent level where her ultimate is smashing everything. But I guess maybe at the higher levels, it's not. Your ultimate's not doing as much for you as it should.
When I use the ultimate and Thanos endgame has his defense up, it feels like I just tickle him. Yeah. Okay. Thanos endgame. All right. That makes sense.
Yeah. All right. Let's go to the next thing for the week, and that is, let me move this over. It is the Captain Britain event returning. Now, we're kind of discussing this beforehand because I didn't really remember what it was like before, and I don't think you did either. So I think the last one was pretty generous because I looked at my Captain Britain. I never bought anything from Captain Britain. I did buy Shuri and Hank Pym back in the day, but I never bought anything for Captain Britain. He's 7 stars, 7 red stars already. So I think the last event was very, very generous. The first few were pretty stingy because I think he was a new character, but I think the last one was pretty generous. Correct me if I'm wrong in the chat, guys, but what are your expectations from this event that's coming up tomorrow?
I hope this is the last time they run this and they just throw him on the web store as like the free claim. I think they need to rotate that out for the Zombie Juggernaut. Throw Captain Britain in there.
Get Juggernaut out, Captain Britain in. I like it. Kind of like that. So these elite characters, we got the zombies, but before that, we had a free character, Mr. Negative. So yeah, I don't know. He's kind of like the first elite character, and then we got the zombies, and now Captain Britain's there. So yeah, let's throw him in the web store. Hopefully this is the last one. I agree with you. All right, we also have another event that did return. It should be in the game right now, but where is it? I don't see it. Is it not returning? We're supposed to have the Old Man Logan trials on the 27th. Did it not come back, or is it gone already? Or is it not showing up for me?
maybe it's not showing because we got it done. I don't know.
I don't know. All right, I thought we were going to talk about the Old Man Logan. I didn't notice that it wasn't in my inbox. Maybe because I didn't do the Shadow King one. I was like, yeah, I just not worth my time for those Crimson Gear. But we were supposed to have Old Man Logan trials. I think that was supposed to be good. So let's just move on. Let me know if it actually shows up for you if you have your Old Man Logan unlocked. It didn't show up for me for some reason. All right, but let's talk about these week 4 events. There was a bug in the week 4 event. But it's a visual bug because we're still getting all the points for it. And what they did say is that they are aware of an issue collecting the Harbinger week 4 daily objectives. We're actively working to fix. We'll update as soon as possible. Update. Issues fixed and you claim it. Well, it's not really fixed. I don't see anything for week 4 Harbinger objectives. Just battling raids, but I've never seen it. And if we look at the associated milestone, it's been going on 3 days. I have 15,000 points. So I think that it's just a visual bug at this point. Did this confuse you at all? Did this hamper your efforts and everything?
It did. I wasn't sure how that event actually worked. So it's like, okay, so do
and I guess nobody ever will.
Here.
Nobody ever will. We're just getting the points for free.
It's free stuff is what I'm looking at now. So
maybe if you click on the command center, that's when you get the 5,000 points. It wasn't clear in this communication, and it's still kind of not clear because it said it was supposed to be fixed. I don't know.
Yeah.
All right. Let's talk about the strike salute milestone. Actually, that is what we talked about. Let's talk about the other events. The Gear 20 burst. This was pretty generous for all of this stuff here because you can get that just from battling in raids, armory, 20 orb fragments. For these other stuff though, for these bio pieces, if you look, it clearly says collect premium milestones by buying select offers. So that's how you get the rest of these. What do you think of these? It's clearly labeled that you have to buy the rest of these, but you're getting a lot of free stuff. I kind of like this. You get free stuff and then you know, oh, I can't score anymore. I could buy that, but it's the cost. I kind of like that it's clear. What are your thoughts about this?
I actually like it. So realistically, if you try to get like 25 of each of those, the offer is $60. So for the people that's spending and trying to push on Xavier, because I end up having to buy this once, I think for mutant gear.
Okay.
That way my mutant was done. Once I got the mystic payout, I was able to get my Xavier. So this, I think, is really good for spenders and people that's trying to actually push to try to get like discounted rates at that. And it's fine. I like it.
Okay. But just spenders, though. This is great for spenders. Doesn't. And I guess the rest of the milestones is good for everybody else. So that gets a little bit for everything. And last milestone that's going on is this one. Lots of training mats, which a lot of people need. Pretty easy to get this, but again, premium milestones clearly labeled. What are your thoughts on this one? Same, because it's a very similar structure. Same thoughts or different thoughts?
Same. They used to be called like those super deals or something like that. Then they changed the name to it. It's like, well, it says right in there the title, it's a deal. So, but now they kind of got rid of that. But it's like $20 and it gets
labeled.
You
still labeled. So
yeah, and it's like $20 and it gets you basically enough L4s to take one character up to like 105 or something crazy. It's actually a pretty good deal.
All right, so yeah, if you're a spender, there's some pretty good milestones. But if you're free to play, you can still get some stuff for free. Let's move on to the final topic that I want to discuss. We started talking about this before our recording, and that is Gear 20. When do you think we're gonna get the Gear 20 more easily accessible? What level do we need to? I can't even see where the rankings are for Professor X. How many Professor X's need to be unlocked before we get Gear Tier 20 more available to everybody?
Did the Race to X event end? Because that's where it was at.
Oh, okay. That's okay. Let me go there. Okay. I wonder where it's going to be afterwards. Where is this stuff going to be afterwards?
Nobody knows.
Oh. All right. So I'm not even on this. I don't even know how to go past 100 on this. But
yeah, hit your Find Me.
Oh, Find Me. Button. Okay.
Yeah, I'm 75,018. So
how do we know how many Xaviers there are?
So when I got it, I was 450. A day or two later, went over 500. So I would assume there's probably about 600 or 700 Xaviers out there right now would be my guesstimate.
Do you remember how many Mephistos were in the WoW before they started to make Gear Tier 19 available? I do not remember.
I think they usually wait for about the 2,000 mark.
2,000.
When they
so
start
we're about a quarter
bottleneck.
We're about a quarter of the way there or so.
Yeah,
when you unlocked it, we're about a quarter of the way there. How long ago was that?
I unlocked mine 2-3 weeks ago. It was like the last week or two of season 14, I want to say. So yeah, probably about 2 or 3 weeks I had them for.
All right, so my guess would probably be about 700-800 at this point.
Something like that would be my guess. I know Dorky just unlocked. I didn't watch to see what rank he was, but I know Dorky finally got his Xavier. Okay. So I want to say maybe it's going to be about another month or two before they start opening up the bottleneck more.
All right. Well, hopefully I get some, hopefully I can score some points on this, some more points on this. We got 15 more days for these Race to X milestones to end. But that's about all I got for you. That's about all I got for you today. Any other final thoughts on Marvel Strike Force, on winning the Cosmic Crucible tournament? Anything else going on? Want to discuss before we give everybody a fist bump?
If you guys have any ideas for like a thematic room, feel free to hop in my Discord. I have a channel there, so that way you can kind of throw your thoughts in. We can kind of come up with a room. I'll throw some options over to the devs, and we get something fun and thematic. Because I want something fun for room 6 this
I want something fun, something weird, something super weird. That's what I want also. All right, so yeah, make sure you check out his Discord. The link will be down below. His YouTube link will be down below. The Twitch link will be down below. All that stuff. Check out his channel, check out his live streams, and go to his Discord if you want some input on room 6 of the next season at Cosmic Crucible. Hopefully you did enjoy this video, and if you did, leave the video a like. Check me out on social media. Check my second channel all about Raid Shadow Legends, and of course, take advantage of that Memorial Day sale going on into the AM, guys. I'll see you guys next time. Are you ready for a fist bump, Brother Dossier?
I am. Let's do it.
All right. The champ and Mr. 7th place, Hulk fist bump. ValleyFlyin out. Have a great rest of your day, guys.